Hi, this is Vicki with the Paper Connection. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, and I am so happy to be with you today. I am featuring Toile Christmas. I love this stamp set and the paper that goes with it. This bird is just fabulous, and he's just so fun and so majestic, and I couldn't help but just feature him today. So today and Saturday there will be cards made from this stamp set and the papers, the designer series. Ooh, can't talk. Designer series paper that goes along with it. Okay, so I brought in the pieces that I'm going to need for my card, and I'm starting out with soft suede. It's cut at 4.25, yeah, by 11, and it's scored at 5.5. But don't worry, all of the dimensions, all the measurements, the supplies, everything will be listed at the bottom of my video. And so I'm just going to take my bone folder, and I'm just going to just burnish along that edge. If you want a really crisp, tight fold, you need a bone folder for it. Although if you're in a pinch, you can use a block, and that will help too. I'm actually going to use another piece of that because I'm going to run it through an embossing folder. And then here's my designer series paper. This is the like, it's a red and white ticking. It's the real red color that Stampin' Up! Has. It's one of the things I love about Stampin' Up! Is that their markers, their papers, everything, their embellishments, everything, it actually will correspond with each other. And then you can see on this side is the green and white ticking, so that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what Saturday's card color will be. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Big Shot, and I'm going to dry emboss this paper, and then I'm going to cut this out with my stitched rectangle. And I'm going to bring in some washi tape because I really want to make sure that this is even. I want this to create a window. Just put it down like that, and I'll put another piece right here. So in case you're new to using a die cut machine, in this case it's the Big Shot, and so it has the Big Shot platform, and then in order to cut the dies you use a thin die adapter, and then you use your plastic plate. And with these particular dies, you want to put them in kind of with the corner going in first. If you go straight, it's going to go boom, boom, and it's going to be really hard to turn. Then you top it off with a plate. I just opened up a package of new plates this morning. Then you're just going to turn. Peel it off carefully so that you don't tear your paper. And you have a frame. And you have a piece that you can use at a later date. I love this embossing folder. It looks like trees with leaves and all of that. And I'm going to just place my paper in there. I want it to be straight, so I'm going to use the little line that's provided and bring it up to the line. I'm going to close it to make sure it doesn't shift. Now in this case, because I'm using an embossing folder, I have to take the thin die adapter off. So you use your platform, your plastic base, or your plastic plate, and then your other plastic plate on top. And take a look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. Okay, I can bring my paper in. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in Whisper White ink, and I'm going to use my sponge dauber. And I'm not going to do with a background. I just want to hit the raised areas. I want them to look somewhat like birch trees. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to do this now so that it can be drying. But this is our all-purpose ink, and it's frost white. And I just took a little bottle. I added a mixture of alcohol. It was mostly alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and then you put 2 or 3 drops of this in it, and it has like a little marble thing. So you shake it up really well, and then you just pour it into here, and then after you mix it up with the alcohol, and then you just spray it. Now some people go like that and run it through. You can do either way. It's not going to leave blotches. I just wanted a heavier glimmer on it, so I'm just spraying the heck out of it. So we're going to set that to the side, and we're going to let it dry. Right, so we're going to bring in our Memento Black Ink, and for a stamp this size, I don't try to hold it and do it like this because it's so large. I leave it on the desktop, and then I ink it up using the inker in my hand, the ink pad in my hand. Goodness, my words are not coming to me today. I think I need more coffee. Okay. Now I'm just going to cut this out so it doesn't really matter. I think this is the one I wanted to use. It doesn't really matter where I put it. I think I'm going to do it like this though so I can use the other side of the paper. There we go. Gorgeous. And while I have that ink out, let's see if it's going to be possible for me to put both of them on there. I think it is. Okay. Hopefully I didn't get my head. Again, because this is such a large stamp, a block and a large stamp, I'm just going to ink it up like that. Let's see how I can do this. I'm going to cut it out, but I don't want to waste paper. There we go. I'll still have plenty of space. Okay. Okay, I've got my markers, and I'm going to start with my So Saffron, and I'm using the dark first, and I'm just going along the areas that has been provided on the stamp that has shading. Then I'm going to come back with the lighter version and just kind of blend all that in together. I think I may have used Daffodil Delight on the other one, but it's okay. This is still going to be nice. Just kind of bring it in together again because I want it to be a little bit darker. And then we'll just kind of move all that around. Okay, so then I'll go with my real red is the color that I'm going to use. And again, I'm just going to come in with the darker, and I'm going to just hit these areas that have been provided with the stamp. And then I'll come back with the lighter colors and blend all that in. Okay, you'll notice I got a little bit of the real red in his beak, so I'm just going to use a color lifter, and you'll see that that's just going to lift right out right there. And I'll bring in the So Saffron and go over that one more time. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and work on the berries and the leaves. I'm going to be using Old Olive, Real Red, and Crumb Cake. Okay, so we've got that all colored, and now we're going to stamp that, and then we're going to cut everything out. So we're going to use our Real Red, ink this up. Oops, must have got that wet a little bit. There we go. All right, and we'll start with the garden green up here, and we will put, whoops, hopefully I didn't get that too close. And then I still have room to put my sentiment. I'm not using my magnetic plate, so I'm going to have to be really careful when I put this plate on top. I'm going to pinch it together like that, and then crank it through. All right, so let's see what we have. Isn't that fantastic? Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Ooh, I think I messed up somehow. Well, I'll show you how I can fix that. I'm gonna have to bring my Big Shot back in. Apparently, I didn't have it completely on the plate. So let's bring that big boy back in here, and it will just fit. You'll feel it kind of just hit into those grooves. And I'm just going to run it again. It won't be off the plastic plate this time, so it will be sure to cut out completely. Okay, the last thing we're going to do before we actually assemble the card is to go ahead and stamp the inside of the card. So let's get that done quickly. I'm going to stamp it and make sure that I've got it even first. There we go. Okay, now let's assemble our card. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on top of my card here. And I'm going to try to be as precise as I can with my borders to make sure I have it just right. These are great. You use them to pop up there. You can use them in place of dimensionals. Let's see what they're called. They're called foam adhesive strips, and they're fantastic. So I like to just tear off a piece. You tear the strip off, you put it across the top like that. And I'll put it right there. Okay, so now let's go ahead and tear these off. Okay, so now we're just going to frame our card just like that. There we go. Okay, I'll go ahead and put this on the inside so we can be done with that and not mess it up. Okay, now I am going to bring in some dimensionals for the back of my bird. I love cardinals. I lived in St. Louis for 17 years, and I raised both of my kids there, and I can't count how many cardinal baseball games that I went to. And even now, here, living back in Georgia, which is where I'm from, where I was raised, I see red birds. I see cardinals at Christmas and winter, and oh my gosh, they're so pretty. They fly around in my yard all the time. And where my desk is in my little studio, there's a crepe myrtle tree right outside. And I'm going to go ahead and place my bird right here. And last year, a mommy cardinal came and laid her nest right outside my studio window. It was just the coolest thing. And she sat on her nest and watched me craft as I sat in my desk and watched her sit on her nest. It was fabulous. I loved it. And then it was time for her to move on, so she did. I'm going to bring some mini dimensionals in now. Just pop right in here. But it was just the coolest thing. She was so protective, and it was just neat watching her sit there on her nest with her baby. She was creating while I was creating. How about that? Okay, you'll notice that I cut it in half, or part of it. Actually, I'm going to clip a little bit more of that off. But I'm going to use the other piece. And I kind of want it to go off the frame, just about like that. And then I'll take this piece and put dimensionals under it as well. And I'm going to cover his feet and that little bit of whoops. I don't think I need the dimensional there. It's going to impede my progress. He's got his tail feather sticking up, doesn't he? I want to cover his feet, and I want to cover that little piece of limb right there. Goodness. Struggling here. You know what? Okay. I'm just going to cut off some more of that limb. Then I won't have to worry about it. Okay. There. Why didn't I think of that in the first place? I still want his feet, most of his feet covered though, so we're just going to do it like that. Christmas wishes. And then we're going to take this and we're just going to kind of put it right here. So I'll take another little mini dimensional. We'll put that right here, like that. And then I have these that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to put a little glue on the back. I'm going to stick it right. I'm going to put a little glue on the back of this one. Not the back, but on the front. So it'll be easy to stick it in place. And I had one more that I cut out, and we're going to just stick it on the other side. Then I'm going to take my Wink of Stella, because you just got to have a little bling, right? And I'm going to color some Wink of Stella on this guy, like that. I'm not going to put it on his beak. And then I'm also going to color on these leaves because I want them to have a little bit of a sheen to them. These are the Toile Tidings glitter dots. I'm going to use a little bit bigger glitter dot this time. Just put it right there. There we go. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope that you saw how easy it was to create this. And I hope it inspires you to make one of your own. If you would like to see more of my videos, hit subscribe and ring that little bell there, and you'll get notice of when I have other videos coming out. This Saturday, we'll be following up with a fun fold using the inside of this paper along with some other things. So you'll just have to tune back in to see.